Hello and welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So I'm just going to jump straight forward to the last module, module 4, on how to conduct a proper research and gather quality data. In there, I saw how important is data because it can help you to influence, persuade, informs, but also can be misleading. So, especially when you're conducting a research for a consulting project, it's important to first identify is the source of data that are the most valuable to the least valuable. First party data, data that come from the company, trust sources, or secondary data, data that comes from sources that they are not anonymous, they have a proven record of research report, peer review, and lastly, the third-party data from aggregate sources. So you can verify is who the author really is, but it's important that you include that in your report, especially if you can have access to the first-party data or there is a known second party data or any trust sources in that industry, for example. And then, from a broad perspective, I saw how you can conduct a research by first playing devil advocate with yourself. So let me look at this. Okay. Nope. Nope. Mhm. So by first playing devil advocate with yourself, so see things from different perspectives because things are not black and white. Okay, gather as much relevant data as possible, and even here they highlight that relevant information, as well as don't forget to take notes and keep record of every source you obtain, as well as evaluate the quality of each sources. And ultimately, so don't forget to circle back with the client. And especially if you're conducting a research for a client or if you're conducting a research for yourself, it's important to follow this process. So then I look at particularly guidelines or a way of Paul Mendes to do or to conduct a research, especially from a tourist website using the marketing Googles. So here first, what he does is, especially when he conduct a research or a marketing research that can be applied to other area, the devil is in the detail. Okay, but broadly speaking, look at their website, understand the genetics, meaning of the product and service, understanding what they offer. Okay, uh, and then go into the specific about what are the categories, the pricing, the review about the company. And if you can have access to the first party data, that's great because now in there you can see is how this company has been performing, what they have done in the past, and how you can, based on that, provide your suggestions. So you usually have to sign an Indian agreement for that. Okay, but once you do that, okay, and once you conduct a research based on their branding, their personal website, their social medias, all the products and services, what they offer, then you jump to the competitor analysis to figuring out who the other players in that industry are, see what they're doing, and what you can learn from them by using a keyword research based on that, based on those findings, and now do a keyword research with any tools out there, whether it's from Google or for any other company, to understand what's going on in that industry. And on top of that, now you look at the worst new up to get up to date data, okay? And then you ask yourself, so everything that I have researched, what is most likely to work today? And that includes how this industry is adapting to regulations and where this industry is going. So this is something that I did, for example, for myself, okay? When it comes to analyze what an e-commerce, what it is, an e-commerce, and then, well, I look at a different source like Amazon that they mentioned that this is the trade of good and service over the internet. So it is your bustling city center or your brick and mortar shops converting into zeros and ones on the internet superhighway, and also the different actors involved: business, government, and consumers, and how each one of them interact each other. So the most widely business model, or AKA e-commerce, type of e-commerce, is the business to consumers, where now business offer good and service to consumers, whether it's retailers, online retailers like Amazon, Costco, Walmart, subscription service, Netflix, Spotify, online traveling and booking like Expedia, Booking.com, Airbnb, ordering food and delivery service, Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and digital marketplace. So where now consumers can buy directly to business or small business uh, in place like or marketplace like Etsy or eBay. And the other relationship is now the business to business, where they offer solutions like marketplace or online marketplace, such as Alibaba, Amazon e-business, eBay business, or EDI, this electronic data interchange. So something that is here, so electronic data interchange, where traditional paperwork that were made on paper, such as purchase order or invoice, now it is done electronically within a company or across company. So EBN provide this ID, EDI, okay? Online portals, so for very large business organization that they want to streamline their procurement portals, uh, or streamline their supply chain, they set online portals like SAP Ariba Network, most of the time to streamline their procurement process, or the supply chain like the Walmart Supply Center, wholesale e-commerce like Uline, Gringer, business to business payment solutions like PayPal or Stripe. Another relationship is the business, or in this case, the consumer to business, where now it can be like freelance work, like platforms like Upwork, TopTal, uh, Freelance, Fiverr. So freelance work, user generated content, where now consumers sell their digital uh, content to companies, whether it's audio, video, uh, yeah, whether it's audio or video, online survey, such as Survey Monkeys, crowdfunding like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, as well as uh, reverse auctions. Okay, so when now consumers put or submit a price quota on products issued by a company in this reverse auction. Another relationship is now with the government to business, such as public procurement portals like FBO in the US or the UK contract finder service, where now here is the government or agency governments, government agencies or governments set an online platform for business so they can bid on government contracts, public procurement portals, tax filing and payment systems like the electronic federal tax payment system on the US or the UK HM custom and revenues, export declarations and international trade like electronic custom clearance or export declarations, permit licensing and application, or in this case, permits, yeah, permit licensing, or yeah, permit licensing, uh, so such as food service, food license, or building permits, a business registration like the SBA on the US, the Small Business Administration, or uh, the UK the company house. Another relationship is with the government to consumers, such as online portals, where now citizens can pay their taxes provided by one of the payment options uh, that the government give to them, uh, payment portal or tax payment portal, driving licensing, renovations, uh, like the DMV, Department Motor Vehicles in California, uh, yeah, the Department Vehicle like California, USA, or the Driving Vehicle and Licensing Agency on the UK, as well as passport applications like the US State of Department Passport Service in the US or the UK General Register Office. Okay, as well as um, yeah, as well as order of birth and death certificates. For example, the on the UK is the General Register Office, and in the US you have the National Center for Health Statistics. That's a very interesting website, by the way. Totally. In them, online bill and payments utilities. And lastly, the relationship between now the consumers to government, such as online petitions, online donations, permit and licensing applications, for example, like fishing licensing or permit hunting, payment of fines and fees. So once I look at that, right, and then I identify is who the other players are in that industry, okay, when I move to the second party uh, data or this competitor analysis, uh, well, I find out that well, you have Alibaba, IKEA, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, according to Indeed.com, okay, and online companies. And some of the keyword research based on my findings, for example, like Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify, and eBay, so such as Shopify website, Shopify web design, the POC or point of sales, Amazon gift cards, Alexa or AliExpress wholesales, Alibaba products. So you get the idea. So once I conduct this research for myself, okay, then it is important to, especially if you're going to show off for a client, right, is to create visually engaging presentation because the client want to know how you reach to that conclusion, and that is by presenting you with charts and statistics and show them the meaningful patterns and how you reach to that conclusion. Ultimately, you can reach an agreement with them to say, hey, yes, this is what we like to implement, or let's going to make some minor change, and from then let's going to implement your solution based on those findings. So one particular way to do that, okay, is that first analyze your notes before you're going to create a report. So before make this report, you must know exactly what you're going to put in there. You must have the data that you want to put in there. Okay, so that's great. Secondly is, well, put the most relevant data first. Yeah, so put the most relevant data first because you don't want the client start to forget what the important thing it was. And so by showing them the most impactful data and from then expand that with different charts and aesthetics will give them interest as well as momentum, because you don't want to sit down in high presentation and reach at the end of the presentation without to figuring out all the good stuff in there. This is one way to do that, and also develop your storytelling uh, skills. If you have a recurring clients, it's important to have some templates. Great, so create template when needed, and remember that data visualization helps make more informed more informed decisions by using uh, data charts and graph. So there's an MIT study in 2014 that says, well, neuroscientists find out that the brain can detect image scenes for as little as 13 milliseconds. So to give you a huge advantage on and the important to recognize this data visualization. Okay, so there's different graphs that we can use depending on the use case, such as bar charts, great when you want to show change over time or compare different categories. Pie charts, like this. So pie charts when you want to make the part to a whole comparison, whether it's discrete or continuous data, but they're most impactful for small data sets. Line graph when you want to show trends or accelerations, decelerations, or volatility, because will help you to look the time series relationship of variables or a two set of variables. This is great when you want to see continuous data. Area chart, which is again when you want to see a time series relationship of data, but now with volume. So you can represent now three variables here. Then I look at scatter plot, and this is great when you want to see the correlation of data. Again, correlation doesn't mean causality, but that's a whole different video. But for the sake of the example, scatter plots are great for that. So, for example, you want to see is the correlation of time spent on the x-axis versus the customer satisfaction on the y-axis. Most of the time, all of this will be grouped here. So the less time the customer service took to respond their inquiries, the more customer satisfaction will be. Uh, and then I look at the bubble chart, which is a combo mix between the area chart and the scatter plot, where now here they are great to show ranking or nominal data comparisons. And this is great again to show the correlation of data because it can help you to compare with multiple data sets, such as, for example, time spent on the internet on the y-axis versus the age, and each bubble represent is a gender. Okay. Then I also look at the heat maps, where now heat maps are great to display categorical data, data that can be grouped in different categories or groups, such as nominal, where now this kind of data has an inherited, they don't have an inherited order, such as color, car, fruits, ethnicity, and ordinal data, type of data that has an inherited order, such as job seniority, like entry level, junior, mid level, senior, C executive, income brackets, health status, whether it's poor, fair, good, very good, excellent, rating of a product from 1 to 5 stars. And with heat maps, it allows us to display categorical data that representing with intensity of color or using intensity of colors uh, to represent value on a geographical map or on a data table. So examples are when you want to show is the number of degrees, uh, number of software engineering degree per uh, state with intensity of color. Okay. And also I look at the waterfall, which are great to show performance over time, as well as geomap when you want to see distribution of data on a map. For example, the number of retail a particular brand has over a state or a city, as well as tables when you want to compare when you want to compare salary, when you want to compare sales representatives or know where blog views are coming from, pictograms to display statistic using icons. Okay, so for example, according from cleanwater.org, so 1 on 9 people around the world don't have access to clean and fresh water. So all of this, with all of these graphs, it's important to follow some do's and don'ts, meaning that as well as tools to leverage your data, whether it's a Statista for source or Canvas for generate your reports. So I mean, the whole idea is to make it easy to follow and see how others are formulating data. See how others formulate data. And when it comes to do's and don'ts for data visualization, the do's is, well, use a structure or an organized structure compared to benchmark, as well as make it readable as possible. Right? So the done is, so don't use outdated data, don't lose your data after you present that, and don't use precise numbers. And especially when you're going now to show that data, the consultation presentation checklist is here to help you with that. And some communication tips for consulting, such as break down complex topics, especially if you present your data to a non or to a public that doesn't have a degree or a background on that. And if you have to rely on jargon data or in jargon industries, break down, make it easy to digest as much as possible. Also understand that you understand the goal. Make sure that you understand the goal. Okay, and avoid miscommunication, as well as understand the different communication works and habits of your clients, whether it's email or whether it's email or video calls. Remember to be a team player. Keep track every communication that you have with your clients, which is help you in the long run, and send brief updates. Because most software developer has a methodology called Scrum or Kanban. They are great for that. That is great for that. And then I saw the A/B testing, which is helpful to get more recurring client, to help you build recurring client. And the thing is like this. So you have an A, which is the control or the unaltered version, the original or the control. Okay. And the B, the treatment or the expected optimized version. So let's say you have a landing page with A, okay, and you want to perform several tests to get an optimized or an expected optimized versions that drive you more retentions and conversion. Okay, so you can perform any test as you wanted. However, there's some best practice, especially when you're conducting is these A/B tests to make your life much more simpler. One test at a time. Okay, so you want to know which aspect when you do this A/B testing will drive more user retention and conversion. So for example, minor change on a button or a typography. So do that one at a time. Okay, so make this test one at a time with minor change, which is another best practice. Make minor change so you can keep track and understand what actually drives that. Test one variable because you want to effectively know what drives this new outcome, a desired outcome or not. You want to know what variables you change, or what element, for example, you change, whether it's a typography or a particularly different sales campaign, sales email campaigns, whether it's the different way of how you outline that email, the different formats or image that you send that. So again, so one test at a time, test one variable and make minor changes, as well as split the test randomly in two groups, right? Whether for a particular audience that you want to look at, when you want to test is the A, when you want to still they test the A, the control, the unalterable version, the original, and this new expected or these expected optimized versions, the treatment. Okay, uh, and do the test simultaneously. Okay, so don't do one test and then after a couple days you perform another test. Do the test simultaneously and decide on significance before testing. So how significant is this test, what I'm going to do, right? And remember to do this A/B testing and measuring over time. An example is like, okay, so in an email marketing campaign, we change these minor details. Okay. In an email marketing campaign, we change this minor detail. Whether is that we, instead of using 3 paragraphs, we now showing 2 paragraphs. Okay. Uh, that was one A/B testing. Then over time, you find out that it reduced from 2 paragraphs to 1. Okay, you get more retention and conversions. Okay, so the more succinct your message, the better. And don't forget that this is actually a cycle. Okay, so remember that the ultimate goal of A/B testing is to deliver the best value and also secure long-term clients. Okay, now with that huge overview, I'm gonna look at this. Let me reopen the database here. That's right. Wait, what? Okay. No, no, this is not the account. Okay. Let's sign in again. Oh, come on, man. This one is to sign out from here. Sign in, but he will redirect me to this another account. No, I don't want that. Okay, sign in again, and there we got it. This field is required, teachable, login. Okay, yeah, I don't want to play games here. Where is the business? Consulting. That's right. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Stop. Ah, Jesus. Consulting. Why you redirect me to? Uh huh. Jesus. Oh my God! What the? Okay, they have an issue in their own platform. Yeah, they have an issue in their own platform. Oh, come on, man. What's going on? For real? Why you still have men, men sign in. I just want to log out here, then sign in here with this credential. Okay, I just want to sign here with this credential. Okay, now when I say hey consulting, that's right. Okie dokie. And here we are. Okay, so once I look at the how to use A/B testing, okay, and after I saw the top benefits by building your personal brand and building an online presence content, okay, there's
Remember that it's the same thing as when you're creating your offer. You don't just want to be. In this lesson, we will be covering how you can develop your personal brand to elevate your success as a business consultant. While you're developing your personal brand, it's important to remember that it's the same thing as when you're creating your offer. You don't just want to be a generalist and just blend into everyone else doing it. You want to stand out. You want to be a specialist in your specific industry or whatever consulting offer that you're focusing on. So you really want to specialize here and make sure that you're coming off as unique, and everything you're doing is to build your personal brand as a consultant. As you're building your personal brand, you're going to start to notice a lot of different benefits that come along with really developing your personal brand, and focusing on it over time will help you increase all of the things that come with being a successful consultant, including getting more clients and being able to charge more. So let's get into some of the top benefits that building your personal brand provides as a business consultant.
yeah, here what they're doing is just selling the idea, selling you the idea. So looking at the benefits of that.
The first is that you're able to form trust and authority. Having a personal brand helps you build trust with your audience, and it allows you to position yourself as an authority and a thought leader in your industry that has trust and that is trusted. That is very important because there's so much information out there. People gravitate towards people that they know, they like, and that they trust. You're going to notice opportunities start to arise. It also helps you when you want to do the opportunity digging and you want to work with different people such as online publications, magazines, television, radio, podcasts, etc. When you have a personal brand, that is who the media wants, is experts, people that have built their personal brands that have an audience. So it's not just about what you're good at out there. So if someone starts to search up your name on the internet, grow your network. So when you're thinking about building your personal brand, understand that even though it does take a good amount of effort and time and consistency, in the end, it will help you grow your network. And as we've went over in the past, your network is your net worth. So when you have a personal brand that clearly articulates who you are, what you do, and how you help others, it makes it easier for people and different entrepreneurs and different clients to see attract clients. Of course, this is probably the most beneficial things it does is help you attract more clients to your brand, because once you've built your personal brand to a point where you are seen as one of the go-to experts in your specific industry or field or niche, that helps you attract even more of your ideal clients. So when you're positioning yourself as an expert, it's also easier for people to refer. That is going to build a you have a strong personal brand built because it helps you justify
Yeah, you
charging
can
premiums for
charge
your
more.
services. Without a personal brand, you just become another consultant on the marketplace and someone can always beat you by offering services for a lower price. However, when you are seen as an authority, you have a personal brand built, it gives you the ability to start to charge more for your services because you're delivering all of this. Your personal brand follows in different niches. You're going to want to eventually evolve you every step to develop your personal brand. The first is to embrace what sets you apart. So important as a business consultant. Let's get into the top ways you can develop your personal brand. The first is to embrace what sets you apart. You want to really embody what sets you apart because personal brand is something that we went over why developing a personal brand is so important as a business consultant. Let's get into the top ways you can develop your personal brand. The first is to embrace what sets you apart. You want to really embody what sets you apart because brand awareness is the first step of building a personal brand, but to really have an impact, to have people intentions. So your brand is to not destroy it. And you do that by protecting your brand at all costs. So remember that everything you do is representing your personal brand. And you need to make sure all of your content is it all comes back to you creating a brand that feels authentic because clients want to know that you're a real person. And as long as you're not doing anything reckless and you're not destroying at the same audience, that you are authentic in your field. Becoming a thought leader in your respective industry is all part of building a successful brand because it helps align you with whatever industry or whatever area of consulting is that you have expertise in. So attach yourself to formulating thoughts on current events in your industry and feel free to share them to build your personal brand and to establish your value system. That will also attract other people who feel the same way and who are in the same industry as you to follow you, to engage with you, and that all helps you build the image of being a thought leader. As you're doing that, it also helps establish yourself as an expert. So we've established the importance of integrating yourself and your personality into your business, but one of the best things to do is to position yourself as the expert in your industry. And that's because people believe experts. They believe in experts. They want specialists. So how do you create that expert status for yourself? Well, focus on what we said, becoming a thought leader, contributing to publications, creating your own personal brand, and leveraging every social media platform that you have. That will help you come off as an expert in your specific field of consulting. I hope those were some helpful tips on how you can develop your personal brand, and I look forward to seeing
Okay. So, that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.